Every great creative work stands on the shoulders of giants. Welcome to RetroInspection, where we examine and find out where the things we love today came from.
So I don't think I have read this book or this novella since my first reading of it as probably a 12-year-old.
Did you read the full actual version, or was there like a kid's version?
It was probably just the kids version, so I didn't really get his
full scariness.
Right, and I was quite surprised that he did several things in this book that I didn't recognize him doing in any of his other full works that I read, where he would parenthetically talk to the audience as himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he would comment on something was going on in the story or some aspect of a character that he thought was particularly funny or somehow he needed to underscore it, and he would come out of the book and talk to you in a way that I don't think he ever did.
It's an omniscient narrator, but one that is far more of a chatty Catherine than your typical third-person omniscient narrator.
So what did you think of this book, Nick?
Oh, yeah, no, of course it's good, and that's absolutely worth reading. If we're moving to the summation, read this. Like I said, I did it in about 2 hours. It's very short. I don't know the word count without looking. I could.
Yeah, I think you read it in a couple hours.
Yeah. I banged through it, and I got it. I got it free off Amazon. You can go to Project Gutenberg and get it. Technically speaking, for whatever reason, Amazon doesn't carry the Gutenberg version. You could go directly to Gutenberg and get it for free. There's some kind of weirdness where Amazon was telling me that they couldn't legally provide the Gutenberg version in the U.S. because that was the first thing I looked for, and they have so many other Gutenberg versions of things available on Amazon. But this one I could not get that, but I found another free version of the full text. I think it's actually part of. Oh hell, if you have Prime, I think it's part of Prime Reading. But there is actually like an Amazon edition of A Christmas Carol.
Well, if you can't read it for whatever reason, and you want to me, the best adaptation of it is the film starring George C. Scott. I think
that's a good
the best.
That was TV. That was CBS. I remember when they first broadcast that.
And it is the best version. I think it's the most faithful to the book.
Yeah.
And
your normies are going to go for Alistair Sims.
Right. Or
outstanding.
Or Picard's version. Didn't he do one?
Well, okay, yeah, that's what Patrick Stewart did it as a one-man theater thing that has been taped.
Right.
I don't know if it's on YouTube, but it's
and he also was in. He was in. There's a movie, I can't remember what it's called, about Dickens writing this story, and I think Stewart's in that too as Scrooge.
Yep.
Sorry. It's also a good movie, but if you want to get this version, get the George C. Scott version. I think it's the best. There's also any of the other versions, like the 1930s British version. I think it's only like 39 minutes. I mean, they really fly through it. But the George C. Scott one feels fuller, has more depth, more breadth of.
And a lot of people swear by the Muppet one with Michael Caine.
With Michael Caine, that's also a very good one.
Yeah. And also, they did the Dickens story in the first season of the Doctor Who reboot. Which I think might be called Ghosts of Christmas, but it's about when Dickens is going around doing like live public readings of this thing later in his life. shit. Since speaking of the reboot, a lot of the Doctor Who, Christmas episodes, there's kind of aspects of this in them, including one in particular about a Scrooge-like character. I think that was during the Peter Capaldi years.
Was he a Time Lord?
No.
Oh,
I don't remember it that well. I did see it, but it wasn't anything that I was likely to visit. So I've only seen.
Well, I definitely listen. Whatever adaptation you want to watch or experience, if you do get a chance to read it in its original form, read it in its original form, because it will touch you in a way that these other things can't. Because, there's something about allowing an author to reach into your mind and create the scenes. And Dickens was like no other, really, to do that. And I certainly appreciate it, and I think it's a great Christmas gift to myself that I read this again.
Yeah, I like I said, I had read it for the first time. I'd never gone after it before. I read other Dickens stuff when I was in school. First time for this one. But yeah, I mean, come on, if you turn on an electronic device, this month, you can't avoid an adaptation of this.
That's true.
Like, subscribe, repost, share everywhere. To see what else we're up to, visit xynobooks.com, xenobooks.com.